Well, hey there, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's having a wonderful day or night, and welcome back to my channel. As always, I'm Deluxe. All right, let's do another freaking Transformer review because I love some freaking Transformers. And today we taking a look at, and I love me some Threezero. This is deluxe scale. This is one of the, the middle scale. They got the premium, deluxe, and they got the MDLX and everything. So DLX, this is Transformers Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, Cybertron Mode, and this is a event exclusive. Is over in China, one of their exclusive and everything. Got this from Show Z. If you don't mind, go order some Transformers. Use Deluxe 32 at the top. It really helps out the channel. Here he is, man. Really excited. Love me. Like I said, if you follow my channel, you know how much I love some Threezero. Love me some Legends. If I can go back and start over, I would start with that and everything. So there you go. There's the thing. There's the front of him. Really beautiful artwork and everything. Got the, got Earth over here. Got, Optimus Prime. You can open it up and display it like this if you want to, which is really cool. With a nice picture right there, Optimus Prime. Got the event exclusive right there. All this stuff. I got a little hole on mine, but it's not terrible. And there he is pointing as usual. I don't know what he's pointing at. Bumblebee or something. Like there's Bumblebee over there. There's me over there and everything. So pretty cool right there. There you go, like that. So yeah, awesome, man. Love me some Threezero. So looking forward to this guy. So before we get to the review, hit me up some like, shares, prayers, and Care Bears. Hit that sub button for me if you don't mind. It all helps that channel. And, I'm really excited. But am I going to be excited after I get done reviewing? More likely I am because they really do a great job. But we'll see. But they don't transform. You don't know by now, Threezero don't transform. They got beautiful paint, sculpt work, details, and everything look really good. So I'm really excited for this. So, yeah, let's stick it right to it. And let's talk about some Threezero Deluxe. This is our DLX. This is the Bumblebee Optimus Prime. Man, let's go. All right. Alrighty, up first as always, what he comes with. Alright, so he comes with instructions. Like I said, does not transform, just shows you, how to articulate him and be careful and all that stuff. So there you go. You get the globe, which I'll show you that in a second. He does come with batteries, a light up feature. It takes 2 AG13 for the eyes and everything, so pretty cool. But yeah, there you go. There is instructions. You get a couple sets of hands. These right here. It is soft plastic. And I love the blue paint, and you got the nice draw brushing to give it more like a battle damage, some scratch marks and everything. That's pretty cool. You get a set of those. You get the gun hands or the trigger finger. That's pretty cool. Once again, nicely sculpted and, soft plastic. That's really good. You get kind of the relaxed hand right here. Once again, the soft plastic, and you get the pointing finger. And that's very nicely done. Nice sculpts and everything, nicely painted. You do get his ion blaster. I think that's what they called it. That comes out. You got a nice little bullet right there, nicely painted gold. Love this. Once again, dry brushing to make it look like it's got battle damage. Gunmetal silver, beautiful, well done, awesome. Like I said, this is an event exclusive. You get the globe or the earth, and it's nicely done. Only thing is, it does have a magnet. It will stick on the forearm. Only thing is, I wish it lit up. I wish there was a light up feature or something that could light up this. That would have been pretty cool, but unfortunately, it does not. But, nicely done. And you get a stand, like always. You get the Transformers Bumblebee, Threezero, nice sculpt work and everything like that. This will go right here. I'll show you everything later on with that. So that's pretty cool. Alrighty there. That is what he comes with. Alrighty, and here is Optimus Prime from Threezero in all his glory. And man, he looks freaking awesome. I already reviewed this guy about, 5 or 6 years ago. But they did some, I think they did some retooling. I put him up. I have no idea where he's at right now. He's in storage right now. But they did some differences and everything. But yeah, this looks so good. Oh my gosh, look at all the sculpt work and details in this thing. It is just beautiful. Man, when I open it up, it's got that, dirty, oily kind of smell to it. I thought it might be cancer or something. I don't know, but man, it just smelled dirty. I like it, but there you go. There is the head sculpt. He does have the dead eyes. Now, I did put the batteries in. What you got to do is you're going to take this little piece off right here. Let it focus in. You take this little piece off. There's a screw. You unscrew that. You take off the top of his head. And then you can put the batteries in. And you just press this button right here on his right there. And his eyes will light up. 2 AG13s is what the batteries are. But the bad thing is when you do turn it off, it does have dead eyes. So I kind of wish they would just get away from that, maybe take those out, save you about 20 bucks or something, put some paint on there, and call it a day. I think that'd be a lot better. But if you do like light up eyes, he does have those. That's pretty cool. So very nicely done. Beautiful head sculpt. It's got the battle damage throughout, you know, the dry brushing with the silver and everything. So as far as articulation, we'll go over that. So this lower neck part is on one piece, you know, so it can move around like that. But then he does have a ball peg up here too as well. So he does have quite a bit of range. He can look at his chest, you know, say, oh, look at my chest. And he can look up pretty good too as well. So that's very nice. And then you can, you know, swivel all the way around. So that's good. And you can give you a little attitude, or actually a lot of attitude right there. So that's very nice. So you do have a whole lot of range for the head, and that's really nice. Like I said, beautiful sculpt work everywhere. The paint is spectacular. You know, like I said, you got the battle damage, you got the Autobot right there. All right, so with smokestack full things, they do move a little bit, not much. I think they're on those little C-clip things. So they do move a little bit, but not a whole lot. Don't try to force it or anything like that. And you got all this work right here. So they do, it's on like a little hinge right here. So you can lift it up to about right there, but then it does have a movement right here under the armpit. So it gives you more than 90 degrees. That is cool. All right, move that. You do have you can go all the way around. Now, it is really tight. That's one thing about the Threezero. The joints and the tolerances are really, really tight, but you can go all the way around, but it's pretty tight. So just be careful with that. See all the mechanical work. I love that. It looks so good. That is freaking awesome. But you got all that right there. That is very nice. And then you also, on the inner arm, you got all the pulleys and the levers and all that good stuff. It looks beautiful. So you do have a nice elbow, like this thing right here. Will go in right there like that, and you can get a nice elbow range right there. You do have a bicep swivel as well, and you do have a butterfly. That looks good right there. Once again, got the scratch marks and battle damage. You do even got some, you know, sculpt in there. Looks beautiful. The blue right there looks good. That's very nice. All right, for the hands, it's on a ball peg. You do got a swivel. You got in and out, up and down. So you got all the movements you need for that. That is awesome. You just pull it off and you can replace the hands and everything. All right, so let's move on. Move down a little bit so we can look at all this beautiful sculpt work on his abdomen and chest area. It's got the nice tinted out black windows right there. You can see in there a little bit, which is nice. You got all that sculpt work in there. Let's see if I can get it in closer. That is beautiful. All right, so you do have, for as far as the waist and everything, so you do got, I'm a little teapot going on right there. You do have a swivel right here a little bit, and you got a little bit. Now you may have to move these down. These are on little hinges. Be careful with these. You know, they may pop off or something. They're on ball pegs, especially these front and back ones on. And then you have these are on like a little hinges and a ball peg too. So move that down. Now you don't have a whole lot of movement right there. So you can go about to right there. I wouldn't force it anymore. And then you got a little bit right there. So you can get a decent amount, you know, not the full swivel, which is fine with me, but you do have that. And you do have a ab crunch. So you got that, all that ab crunch right there, which is nice. And then it shows the vertebrae, which is beautiful. Once again, all that sculpt work and detail, just, man, look at that. All right. So we'll move that back up, move that back up. So you do got a crunch right here and to the top, I mean, at the top right there as well. All right, moving along, I'm gonna move this down a little more and everything. So like I said, you do have these hip skirts. Like I said, be careful. Now these are on a little hinge right here. These little front ones are on a ball peg right in here and a ball peg right there. So two ball pegs right there and on a hinge, you know, so you can kind of lift those up kind of out of the way. It's a little tight, just be careful. You don't want to break or anything like that. With the legs, you know, you do got the full Van Dam. Now you do have a drop down, so that's good. So you can get you the full Van Dam all day, every day. And then you also, now you don't have to use the drop down. You can get about up to about right there. But if you do use the drop down and get you a little more as far as kicking up, so you get about right there. And so far, and with the back too as well, you can move this little butt plate, moves out of the way as well. All right, then you can move that back up. You do have a thigh swivel. You got a nice knee bend. Now be careful with the knee bend. This piece right here popped off on me. Just be careful. So you got this right here, and it gives you more. So it gives you the full range, but you do got the nice sculpt work throughout. Beautiful, looks good. Look at all this details and everything. And back up. See, that's a shame right there. So let me put that back on. I'll be right back. All right, so I had to put that piece back on. That's a shame. I may have to super glue that there and everything, see if it'll stay on a little better. This one hadn't popped on me on that, but this one did, so that's everything. But the wheels do turn a little bit. You do got some nice dirt and grime right there. Once again, you got all this sculpt work throughout. Looks good. All right, with the feet, you can go up. You got tilt up. Not much down, but you do have a nice rocker. And this piece will move, and this little piece will move out of the way too as well. So I like how they do that. You know, stuff moves out of the way when you move it, everything. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, you've seen the back. It's beautiful. And then you got the back of the legs, which look really nice as well. Got some nice paint right there, everything. All right, so there you go. Let me pull him back, push this back up here. There you go. There is Prime and his articulation. All right, gold accessories real quick, not very many. So it does have the gun hand, you know, with the gun, which is pretty good. You just, like I said, it's on a ball peg, you just pop off the hand, and there he is on his weapon, which is really good. And then with the globe, like I said, that's the you know, exclusive to this. So it's going to go on right here. Unfortunately, this one does not have a magnet right there, but this one does. So basically just put it right there. And it holds it pretty good, especially, you know, sitting up like that. Now, once you know, bring it down and you start messing around with it, it will fall off. But as long as you got it up here, it'll be fine. So that's pretty cool. Like that. Like I said, I just wish it lit up. That would have been really cool, you know, do the electronics right there. That would have been awesome. And just with the, you know, just like all the Threezero, you can use the stand. Just take off his butt plug. And then you just do it right there. And there you go. You can get him some dynamic poses, all that good stuff and everything. So very nice. So, yeah, so there you go. There went the Earth right there. But there you go. That is his accessories. Alrighty, so there is the Nemesis Prime from, you know, Revenge of the Fallen. You got the Rise of the Beast Primal back there. And you got the Last Knight. That is the Nemesis Prime as well. Then I threw in the MDLX. That's the Shattered Glass Prime. And there's some scale for you. Hey, Crapagonics, Crappy Tool Paper, AAA Battery, Car Mix, Care Bears, Kicker, and Squeaks. More scale. Well, hey there, everybody. If you made this far, as always, I freaking appreciate that. All right, final thoughts on this is the Threezero DLX. This is the Bumblebee movie, Optimus Prime. This is an event exclusive and everything. This is a Cybertron mode as well and everything. So overall, I really like him. Love some Threezero. He does have some issues. You know, the main part was this little knee pad kept popping off. I super glued it now. It's good to go. I had no issues with that. Tolerances are really, really tight, especially up on the shoulder area when you're trying to do the, you know, rotate the arm and everything. Just be wary of that. But better the tight than loose, giggity. So, you know, I'm happy for that. The light up effects, you know, I do like the eyes when they light up. That's pretty cool. But if they took them out and painted the eyes, because if you don't turn them on, he's got the dead eyes, you know, he just like he's dead, everything. That would have, you know, if they take that out, maybe knock off $20 and paint the eyes, that would be really cool, I think, in my, you know, opinion and everything. I do love the, like I said, the event exclusive thing is the, you know, the Earth. There's the globe and everything. I like how it magnetizes, you know, on his forearm. I just wish it lit up. That would have been cool to put that over here. That would have been really neat. I would like to see that. That would have been cool. But, you know, eventually, unfortunately, they did not do that. You get several types of hands. You do get the, you know, the stand, which, you know, I never use a stand. So, but it's cool if you want to use one. You get them some dynamic poses. That's awesome. I love the weapon. But yeah, so overall, but yeah, beautifully well done as always. Threezero does a great job with the sculpt. The, you know, the paint is perfect. Like I said, it's got all that dry brushing, the battle damage and everything. The sculpt work and details on this thing are just freaking awesome. And it's just, you know, just throughout, you know, everywhere on the back of the vertebrae when you do the ab crunch, that is freaking awesome. So yeah, it's a beautiful piece. It doesn't transform. Like I said, just be careful as always with the hip skirts and everything. They are on ball pegs and everything. They will pop back on, but they will pop off a lot. So just beware of that because they're really tight. Just be, you know, careful with all that stuff and everything. Just be careful. Like every time, you know, every time I review a Threezero, just be careful. You know, don't rush it because you may break off some pieces and everything because there's a lot of small, you know, intricate pieces with him. So just be careful with that. But overall, he's a great piece, and I'm glad to add him to my Threezero collection and everything. So hope you like my review. Hit me up some likes, shares, spurs, and Care Bears. Hit that sub button for me if you don't mind. It all helps out the channel. Hit me up some comments. Let me talk about the review. What do you think of Mobile movie Optimus Prime? You go follow me on Instagram and TikTok. They're on the description. Use the code Deluxe32 at ShowZ. Go order some stuff. That's where I got this guy. And yeah, it really helps out the channel. So I guess I'll see you in the next Transformer review. And as always, be good to yourself. Hail freaking Transformers and hail freaking Threezero, man.
Just a beautiful piece, man. Golly, all the sculpt work and details on this thing, man. They do, long, long hours to make this. So great job.